Hello, my name is Bussin Bear, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you the basics of the Makerpen in Rec Room. In this video, I'm going to show you all the buttons and stuff in the tools category and the palette in Rec Room. So let's get right into this. The first thing you're going to want to do is open up your watch, then click on Backpack, then click on Use, and this should spawn in the Makerpen in front of you. If you favorite the Makerpen, you can pull it out of your shoulder as seen in the video. Alright, so first you're going to want to open up your Makerpen and click on the Tools category. Now in Tools, our first button is going to be the Create button. So I'm going to show you what the Create button does. So this is basically how you create and spawn in your objects. So I'm going to spawn in some tubes right here and do some swirls. And I'm going to hit Palette and click on Cube. So now using the Create button, I can spawn in any cube or any objects or shapes that I want. It's very simple. So now we have the Select button. So what the Select button does is it makes it so you can select objects and you can make them into inventions, copy, or use the eyedropper. Eyedropper is basically just like changing the color. So another thing you can do with this is if you select multiple objects, you can merge those shapes together. If you want to separate those objects from one big object, you can also click Split Shapes. So now we're going to use the Wire button. So the Wire button is most commonly used for circuits, gizmos, and buttons and stuff like that. So as you can see, I am going to connect this button with wiring to the animation gizmo. So you can wire those together, or another thing you can do is you can wire the animation gizmo to an item. So I'm going to show you that right now. So I'm going to connect the animation gizmo to the cube. Our next button is going to be the Configure button. So the Configure button basically makes it so you can configure gadgets and gizmos. So I'm going to configure the Sky Dome chip. I'm just going to make it so the color of the roof is going to be green. So I'm just going to fly up and show you how that looks. So as you can now see, the horizon is going to be green because I configured this chip. And that is basically how you configure objects. So next we have the Transform button. And what you could do for this is you can rotate an object, as you can see. You can move it up and down, and you can scale it to be bigger. And it's basically a combination of all three of those buttons. So now we just have the Move button. And like I said before, this one's pretty simple. You just get a move any object you want around by pressing the trigger on it. Or you can use the arrows to go up and down and side to side. So, move's pretty simple. So now we have the Rotate button. And this is how you can rotate an object in any way you want. So you can rotate it side to side, up and down, diagonal, any way you desire that you want to rotate your cube. And then finally, out of the move ones, we have Scale. So you can just scale an object to however big or small you want your object to be. So now we have the Cloning button, and it's just how it sounds. You can clone an object for its exact shape, and you can just clone it as many times as you want. Next we have Recolor, so you can just color an object in any way. So you can click the Color button and choose any color that you want or any material. So I'm just gonna have this blue and on bricks, and then there's also the size. So this makes the size bigger of the material. So if I want massive bricks or if I want smaller bricks, it just changes the size. As you can see, it makes them bigger and smaller. So next we have the Freeze button, and this just freezes an object in place and it makes it so you cannot move or edit the object. And then to unfreeze it, just click on the Freeze button again and click it again, and your object's unfrozen. And then almost to the end, we have Make Invention. So if you click on any object with the Make Invention tool, you can make your object into an invention. So say I want this cube to be an invention, I can click it, and then I can click Next on here, and I can have the name, and I can take a photo of it, which I'm not going to do, but that is how you make an object. Or you can use the Select tool to make an object. Next we have manipulate, and this is basically like scaling the object, but you can scale it in width and height. Instead of just scaling the whole object, making the whole size of it bigger, you can only make individual height, so make it higher and wider. And then we have delete, and this is as simple as it sounds. You can delete any object that you want. And so finally, we have the undo and redo button. So basically what these buttons do is it makes it so you can undo any mistakes you made, or you can redo an object that you want. So if you accidentally deleted a cube, you can redo it by pressing the redo button. So now we're on the palette, so you can just click the palette on your Makerpen, and you should see in the shapes area that there are a ton of shapes, like the cube, this little ramp, there are some tubing, there are cubes, and some ribbon, and there's just a ton of things that you can build in the shapes area. So, yep, and there are some shapes. So now we're gonna move on to the swatches. So in the swatches, this is where you can change the color of any object you want. So say I want it to be this dark blue. Now my cube is dark blue, and I can just build that. And now we can have it this red. And let's change the material to this neon. And as you can see, we can just change the color and the material. And also what you can do is that you can save ones that you want to keep forever. So you want to keep like this yellow, you can save this yellow and save as a new swatch. And it's just as simple as that. So now we are on to props. Props are things that Rec Room has made for us to use, and they're just like gadgets, gizmos, cars, basically everything that you would want in props. So there's some furniture, there's kitchen stuff, there are sports, toys, weapons, and these are all just props Rec Room made for us to use in our maps. So here are some of the dynamic ones. These are mostly like ones you would want to use in like racing maps or like scoreboards. So now we're going to move on to inventions. So what inventions are basically player-made props. So these are props that players made and uploaded that you can buy for tokens or create. So you can create your own props, and here are some of the ones I made. I made some animation ones, some dorm skins, some just character models and stuff. And we can go on to circuits now, and now that we are in circuits, circuits are basically just things that we use for like building guns or like rocket machines or zero gravity areas. I don't really know much about circuits, but I kind of know what they do, and that's what they do. And now we have CV1 Legacy. So these are where all your chips, gadgets, gizmos, and items are all going to be. So this is like the Skydome chip is an example of one of these. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching today's video. It'd be super appreciated if you liked and subscribed. And I also have some more tutorials if you guys want to watch that. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.